is not serious-minded. Alhaji Lai Mohammed, this is particular comment attributed to Chibizi Akande, and of course Chibizi Akande has never said he did not.
I didn't say this. I said
to say that. No, I'm just saying that he didn't deny saying it. Right. But to say that the president is not serious-minded, don't you think that that's too far?
No, because look, you are looking at the conclusion. What about the premises? The premise is that I've had long conversation with him twice. I've written him letters twice on burning national issues. He never replied. Therefore, he can be serious-minded. Now, what will be your own, view if you even sent me a text and I did not reply?
But if he doesn't reply at Chibizi Akande, does it mean he's not serious?
Oh, what other conclusion is he left with?
But if Chibizi Akande is not getting the kind of response you wanted from the presidency, does it mean that the president is not serious?
What other conclusion?
Say, for example, if I send you a message and you do not reply me, do I count you as an unserious person?
It depends on what kind of message you've sent to me. Listen, I happen to know the content of these letters. It had to do with burn national issues. One of them had to do with the issue of removal of fuel subsidy.
What if the presidency does not see Chibizi Akande or his comment as one that is tallied with the parties, his party?
You don't have to agree with what he has said. But you can also reply and say, yes, I've seen your letter, and I don't agree with it. And don't forget, it's not just anybody. He was, at the time he wrote that letter, was the chairman of ACN with 6 governors, about 20 senators, and about 70 members in the House of Representatives. He was not an ordinary person. He wrote that letter representing the views of the ACN. And for you to completely ignore the views of the chairman of that party, I think is very unserious.
Okay, just a moment. Let's take a look at the response of the presidency towards it. Then I will go to Abuja. And if Chibizi Akande is seen as not using a good language, what again the presidency's reply and response to Chibizi Akande, the presidency through Dr. Reuben Abati, the spokesperson of Mr. President, replied and says that the interim national chairman of the APC, Chief Akande, sank to a new low in this regard when he rudely and forcefully described President Jonathan as a kindergarten leader who treats national issues with levity. Dr. Ononuge, one would think that if Chibizi Akande made that comment and the president is not pleased with it, don't you think that the president has dragged it on office lower than the issue really is on this particular comment and response?
Well, I think it's very good that Alhaji Lai Mohammed has explained. What Alhaji Lai has explained, it's very, very correct about what is going on. And Nigerians can really see now that, yes, Chief Akande made the outburst out of frustration. But you have to realize Nigeria does have quite a lot of senior citizens, and a lot of people do communicate to the president. The president, by law, is not obligated to reply to everybody who writes him letter. There is nothing that says that the presidency should, as a fact, fall into any trap set for him by anybody like Chief Akande. If he writes the letter to the president, just like a lot of senior citizens do write letters to Mr. President, the president is not, by law, obligated to reply him. And if the president does not reply him, the president may just read that letter. The president may not even have seen the letter. It's not a reason for him to, out of frustration, go on the road, lose all manner of decency, and then start speaking in a way that is unbecoming, unexpected, and very, very low, when you really see that the person who is speaking is supposed to be the chairman, or rather the interim chairman of a party that we are looking up to provide viral opposition. And this is where we have this problem. A lot of people can give advice to Mr. President. And if the president replies you, it's just like you're making a phone call to somebody. The man may be busy. He doesn't reply your call. He doesn't take your call. You don't start going to the public and start insulting him as being an unserious person because the very call you called, he didn't take it. The man may be very busy when you put that call through. It's not mandatory. And I think the presidency has done well not to reply Chief Akonde, because if that's the quality of mindset he brings, he does not demand, he does not,
Dr. Ononuju,
I would say,
Dr. Ononuju,
he does not deserve a reply.
Sorry,
yes.
if I may quote you in here. The presidency has replied, but you've not answered my question actually. I'm actually pointing at the response the presidency gave to Chibisi Akande. If the presidency finds Chibisi Akande's comment offensive, should the presidency also be offensive in its own response?
Well, there is nothing wrong with the country rebuking citizens who go out of line. The president speaks on behalf of the country. The presidency stays there to represent the institution of the presidency. That presidency institution is being manned on behalf of Nigerians. If any of its citizens takes to the presidency and talks to the presidency in a way unbecoming, the first thing is to rebuke that citizen so that other citizens will learn how not to be insultive or rude to the institution of the presidency. And I believe that is just what has happened.
Okay, Dr. Ononuju, if I may give you actually the perspective on what I'm talking about so that you get it very correctly. In the statement released by Dr. Ruben Abati, he spoke directly to Chibisi Akande, and these are the exact words that he used. He said, "It is certainly rude, ill-mannered, uncharitable, and hypocritical for Chief Akande to falsely and cavalierly allege that a president will toil tirelessly every day of the week, evolving and implementing workable solutions with levity." That is some of the words that was used by Dr. Ruben Abati on behalf of the presidency. And some people find this also very offensive, and they say, look, if the presidency finds what Chief Akande his comments offensive, should the presidency go the other way around and bring down the office of the presidency, which a lot of people see as sacred?
Well, Dr. Abati is a Nigerian. Dr. Abati is angry with Chief Akonde for trying to denigrate and insult the office of the presidency. And as you can see, Dr. Abati wasn't the only person who was that vociferous in replying Chief Akonde. A lot of Nigerians called him to order. And I believe if Dr. Abati has spoken just along the same line a lot of Nigerians have done, of course, there are those who may not take very kindly to his very line of reply, but he has spoken. And I believe the warning goes not just to Chief Akonde, but other Nigerians who may, out of hate, insult the office of the presidency. Goodluck Jonathan is a Nigerian from Bayelsa State. He is the president. And that president is an institution that belongs to all of Nigeria. No Nigerian has that right to insult the institution of the presidency. And that's exactly what the point is. So if Chief Akonde wrote letter, just like plenty of Nigerian elder citizens write letter and communicate to the president, if he does not get his letter replied on time, he has no right in reaction to that to be insultive to the institution of the presidency, because that institution belongs to all of us Nigerians. Chief Akonde is just another Nigerian. He cannot insult the presidency.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ononuju. But Alhaji Mohammed, let me quickly ask you, based on what we have seen so far, Alhaji Mohammed, your party has said, look, we are going to take over the seat at the center from the PDP. That's one of the aim, the target of your party when you formed it, the major party. But this time around, a lot of people have said Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, Nigeria's former president, will not take half of what your party is giving to President Jonathan. Why would your party want to go toward this line?
Once again, I think we must, like I say, are we running a democracy or we're running a monarchy? Now, I'll just give you a few examples. In the UK, I remember very well when during the Gordon Brown's tenure, he was referred to as a moron. hell didn't break down.